They would never let me go hungry. That's a Sri Lankan
Yeah.
thing. People go to different countries to get married. That's what they do. They
Yes.
love to do
Get
that.
off
The plane and that humidity just hits you like a ton of bricks. And then
Welcome.
then there's all this. Yes, you're like, oh, I'm here. I understand Sinhala, but because the words are around the wrong way, subject, object, verb, everything's around the wrong way.
Yeah.
The best I have had in the country is in Jaffna. It
Oh.
blew my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Jaffna food. Tell you what, I lived in Hollywood in California, and I felt more unsafe there than I do here. Sri Lankans on a whole are intelligent people, and I think the only reason some of them leave the country is because
Hi, Nyoli. Welcome. Happy to have you in this podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I'm great. It's a bit hot and steamy in Sri Lanka right now, but that's part of living here, right?
Yeah, comes with the package.
Yes.
So tell us about you, Nyoli. Where are you coming from?
I'm from Australia, and the reason I came to Sri Lanka was back in 2010. I'd decided I was going to start a tea company. I was in the coffee business, and nobody had tea. So I'm selling coffee beans and coffee machines all over Australia, and everyone's going, what about tea? I'm like, I don't know, buy it at the supermarket. And then I'm like, ding, hello, business opportunity. What am I saying? I better start a tea company. So I did. Then I thought, oh, I better learn about it. So I flew over to Sri Lanka and found an amazing supplier, did all the tea factories and the plantations, and I saw where my tea came from, and I got trained in it. I went to the grading houses, which is, very much you grade your tea like wine. It's a very similar process. And then the tea leaves go to auction, and that grading then determines what sort of price you're going to get at auction. And I went through everything. Kept coming and going, research and development. I started off with 6 teas and ended up with 150. I just kept, coming up with ideas and making more flavors and more this and more that. Yeah. I was everywhere, and I expanded the business internationally, and
Nice.
having the time of my life. Hard work, you work 24/7. Yeah, so that's what brought me to Sri Lanka. And then we had a family incident, and I sold the factory and the business, and closed down the retail shop. And I thought, okay, I'm going to travel the world. First stop, I'll see all my friends in Sri Lanka. And then I just got this opportunity to volunteer teaching English in Colombo.
Okay. Oh, nice.
Great. Yeah, really good organization. They're from the UK. They've been here nearly 40 years. They're in everything. Like they do free cataract surgeries. They have the school heavily subsidized, and they have tea plantations to support entire villages. They're amazing people. So with that, I get a house, shared house with other international teachers, and your 3 meals. And so the classes would go for 3 months at a time, and I'd teach 90 students over the age of 16 at a time. So all up, I had about 150 students, 160 students during my time there. And I honestly have never bonded with people like I did with my students. Now, some of them were way older than me. I had 2 ladies in their 80s. Like, hello, they were there to learn English. Amazing. All these stories. And I just bonded with everyone. And at the end of term, like, there was massive tears and gifts. I've never been showered with so many gifts. How wonderful these people were. I was so blessed to have had that opportunity. And then, then my daughter came over, my youngest one. She actually did the tea training with me here. She used to come down south while I was teaching, and fell in love with a particular beachside town. And then I had to keep coming down with her. And then she decided, Mum, we're going to have a hostel. There's only one hostel in this place.
In the south.
This place is huge. Yeah, there's only one hostel right here. Right, okay, let's have a hostel. Radio. So we went looking for properties and found one. At the same time, we met 2 New Zealand guys doing the same thing. So we went through the hostel journey together. We opened at the same time. It was really good to have, some friends doing it with you. We do sharing of businesses sort of thing. So that worked really well. And that was never my intent. My intent was to travel the world, do this thing in Sri Lanka, travel around, then off I go somewhere else. But no, here I am. I'm still in Sri Lanka. And then COVID came,
Oh, yeah.
and then that was it. There was no leaving the country.
Mm.
Uh, and I'd been injured in an accident and I wasn't allowed to fly. I had a broken neck. So
Oh.
everyone had pretty much gone. I was still in the hospital. I got out of the hospital and came to my little beach town, and there was one other foreign lady who was married to a local man, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh.
I had the best COVID lockdown in the world. I
I was
had
going
this
to say that.
beautiful beach. Had this beach. They make musical instruments out of anything. We sit around. I don't know what they're singing. They're singing something, and clapping and dancing. We had the best life. And
Yeah.
of course, we had freedom because we didn't have. Colombo was complete lockdown, and
Mm.
they had food deliveries. We didn't have that down here. If you
Mm.
wanted to eat, because there was no supermarkets open, you had to go fishing. You had to go trade. I had a breadfruit tree. I could trade some breadfruit or some jackfruit for something with someone else over there, and you went back to the basics, and then you wanted to cook something where you had to light the fire outside, put it on the
Wow.
fire, like
Oh, you couldn't
yeah,
even get
it was
gas?
an experience.
Yeah, yeah.
No, we had nothing. No, like we had nothing. And then slow went, and that was great. And the locals, they would never let me go hungry. That's a Sri Lankan
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
They got to feed you. You're thirsty. You're gonna drink it whether you want it or not. And and it's lovely. And I'm in and out of everyone's homes. I know everybody. And then that was fine. People started coming back, and of course, then we had the economic crisis. Once again, now
Mm.
you've got no petrol. So once again, we didn't have anyone come down south because they couldn't get here. There's no
Yes.
buses.
Yeah,
There
no
was
petrol.
nothing. There's no petrol. There was no electricity. There was no water. Once again, you got to light the fire, start fishing, climb the
So
tree to
you
get your fruit. It was like,
so you
here
lived
we
the
go again.
authentic island life twice.
Twice. The first time around, we had electricity, but the second time around, we didn't. And I'd got
Yeah.
myself a job online, and I was to work, a good 8 or 9 hours a day. Well, we'd have electricity out 11 hours a day, and it
Mm.
rotated on the time. So, your electricity might go out at 6 a.m. for 3 days, and the next time it'll go out at 2 p.m. for 11 hours. The next 3 days, I'm up and down, and I've got to try and work during all of this. But you adapt.
Yeah.
Everyone's in the same position.
Mm.
You just adapt and you just go
Yeah.
with it.
Yes, Naoli. So talking about the tea factory and the business, back in I think 2010, where was it? In which
Yep.
part of Sri Lanka was it?
Okay, so north of Sri Lanka, north of Colombo, I can't tell you the name of the town, but it was a big factory. and
Okay.
and and they would regularly go to the tea plantations, and obviously you'd go to the tea auctions every Tuesday,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where I did a lot of or all of the research and development really, where they would do my tea bagging and everything and packaging and all sorts of things. So we've got an amazing team of professionals there, and yeah, they no matter what I wanted, because I was expanding internationally. I was in 280 stores in Korea. Like, how
Wow.
did that happen? And then I was in a joint venture in the UK, and it's just everything was, and it didn't matter what I needed to do. They were there beside me, and they helped me, and I couldn't have done it without them. So I was very,
That's
very
nice.
blessed, and I really liked the people were so giving of their time and their knowledge.
Mm.
Nobody was out to do a harm to you. I was very fortunate.
Mm-hmm. That's lovely to hear. So did you guess
Yeah.
the Australian market finally for
Oh
tea?
yes, yes. I snagged the Sydney Opera House, big, like probably the biggest venue in Australia and the most
Mm-hmm.
prestigious. And from there, everything just snowballed.
Yeah, wow. That's nice. So then you
Yeah.
came down to Mirissa, yeah? Now you're in Mirissa.
Yes, yes, yes. And I love it. And
Yes.
I watch the whale watching boats go out every day, and the sun
Mm.
sets directly in front of my backyard over the ocean. And yeah, like I'm living
Yeah.
in paradise. It's
Yeah,
something
I
people
can picture
dream of.
that.
Oh, I'd love a beach house. I
Yes.
want to move to a tropical island, and nobody does it, or very few people are game enough to do it, and I've just done it. I couldn't be
Yeah.
happier.
Yeah. No, I think it's changing now. People, now that you can work digitally, from home, so people are moving to the other parts of the world.
Yeah, oh, definitely. It's full of
Yeah.
digital nomads. Maybe 2 years ago, we didn't even have co-working spaces. Now they're everywhere. Everywhere's got
Yeah.
co-working. It didn't exist before. So it's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah. Every time I come on vacation, I see it's developing more and more, especially the South. It's become a favorite in the
Oh,
island.
unbelievable. There was a town of Ahangama. I went there to meet my lawyer 4 years ago, and we were struggling to find somewhere to sit down and have a cold drink. And
Oh,
now
4 years
it's
ago.
like being in Bali. It is
Yeah,
just
Ahangama.
foreign-owned businesses everywhere.
Yeah.
And it happened like that.
Yeah. So you chose Mirissa out of all the beaches because your daughter liked it. And did you see any opportunities that you didn't see in other coastal areas of Sri Lanka? Or you just
Well,
fell in love with Mirissa?
I loved the beach. Wow, what a beach. Like, I mean, it's spectacular, but it had things there for tourists to do. It's full of beach restaurants, yeah?
Yeah.
And there was opportunities. There were no surf shops. There was that one hostel. There was, a few things were popping up, and you could see the potential, and it was packed. There were tourists everywhere, and they were crying out for more facilities. Like, you
Mm-hmm.
come here now, we've got surf shops, we've got clothing boutiques, we've got restaurants and everywhere, and it's just like, it's what's happened to little old Mirissa. But there's opportunities. That's what I saw. Being a business person, I'm always looking opportunity, and I thought this is a good one. It's already got things here for people to do of all different age demographics.
True.
So other beaches are stunning, but possibly too quiet. There's no infrastructure there yet.
Mm-hmm.
Might be too hard to get to. So I just thought, yep, this has got potential. It's stunning. And so I'd have my Australian friends would come over and go, wow, this must have been what, Thailand was like 30 years ago, or
Yeah.
Bali, I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's going to boom, sadly. It's going to go.
Let's hope we can save it. No, but it's a good thing if it is providing opportunities to local and a nice expat life to expats, win-win situation.
Absolutely.
So you are working on a guest house project, yeah, right now?
Oh, well, I had a look at this block of land back in 2019, and then of course, all that, we had the bombings and the COVID and that, and I only just lived like half a kilometre away, but I thought I want my own place. I'd just been renting for a while, and I came back to visit, and it was still here. So how is this still here? It's probably the best block of land on the island, and because the owners only lived across the road, so I had to just walk across the road and say, hey,
give it to me.
would you mind? You remember me? I was here a few years ago. I'm still here. And so, yeah, we worked out a deal, and fantastic. And then I moved in before Christmas. I don't have any doors, but I've got windows and the best view in the world. Yeah, it's just stunning. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. I do have a Sri Lankan company, and I've had one for many years. I could turn it into, maybe an event place for foreign weddings. We don't have that down here.
Yeah.
Specifically for foreign weddings or 21st or 50th or whatever the case may be, because of the view is outstanding.
Yeah.
And it doesn't exist. People go to different countries to get married. That's what they do.
Yes.
They love to do that.
Yes.
So I could provide that, and I've got a beach right out my front door. So I'm thinking possibly that.
Yeah.
Who knows?
That's a great idea.
I've got a bit of time. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So when you first came to Sri Lanka, what did you feel like? How did you see it?
I thought this must be sort of what India's like, but on a small scale. You get off the plane and that humidity just hits you like a ton of bricks, and then
welcome.
Then there's all this. Yes, you're like, oh, I'm here. And the smells, they're different
Mm,
smells. I don't know, you're
mm.
smelling spice, you're just smelling all sorts of things. It's like, whoa. And then at that time in Colombo, there wasn't there weren't big shopping centers. Like there wasn't really. Yeah, Peta was great. Yes, hello Peta markets.
Mm.
But Colombo City Centre had only just opened.
Yeah,
And that was like the big attraction. But apart from that, it was great. You're walking into these individual mum and pop shops, and
yeah,
the little
small
market
businesses.
stalls, and yeah, and it was
Yeah.
great. And there were little entrepreneurs in their own
Mm-hmm.
world, and I love that about it. I loved it
Yeah.
wasn't really developed. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
this is great. I've been to 20 odd, nearly 30 countries in the world, and it was unique. Everywhere else that I'd been is pretty much, except for the South Pacific Islands, pretty much developed.
Mm.
I'm saying that South Pacific Islands got these massive big hotel chains and what have you, but this was unique. And I'm like, how special that I'm seeing it like this.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I loved about it. I
Yeah.
think that's the beauty of it. People love that as well.
Mm. Now it's changing for the convenience, but I think there is still some authenticity in Sri Lanka. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
100%.
yes.
You go traveling all over the place and it's like, wow,
Yeah, raw
this is how it
nature.
was 100 years ago and it's still that way. I love it.
Yeah.
So you've got such diversity.
Yes. Yes. Within hours of reach. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So, having lived there for so long, having gone through the crisis, COVID and everything, you are a star. I have
And
to
the
give you this.
and the bombings.
Oh yeah, yeah. Before that, yes.
Yes.
Um, how do you feel about general day-to-day life? How safe is Sri Lanka for expats and the facilities? What do you think about the facilities, medical and
I,
other facilities?
there's a foreign built, I think I would say, medical centers popping up everywhere with
Yeah.
pristine equipment.
Mm-hmm.
And like we've got a private hospital now, purpose built for foreigners.
Oh,
Medical
in
centers all
Mirissa.
over. Yeah,
Is it in Mirissa? Oh.
yes. But
Mm-hmm.
it's amazing. So as before, like you'd have to travel to Marta or you'd have to travel to Gaul or somewhere.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I travel 1 minute and I have an amazing brand new private hospital.
Mm.
Great doctors, fantastic facilities, an ambulance service. So,
Nice.
and that's happening all over the place in little pockets. Like infrastructure is really
Develop.
taking shape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I was there
So,
last December. I
if you do
didn't
get
see the
sick or
medical
anything happens.
centers.
Oh, yes, yes. Welligama has about three, I think.
Wow. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
They need to sort that out because maybe the tourists or expats, will have a language barrier to get help. So it's best this way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And
yeah.
we have these in the world now.
Oh yeah, you got one. True. Now
I
there is an
did.
app. There is an app to translate live, real time.
So it doesn't
Impressive.
matter where you are in the world.
True.
Well, I built this house and I did not one of my labours could speak English. So we
Mm.
designed and built the house together using drawings and sign language and some frustration and hair pulling. And it wasn't until I moved in that my AI translator turned up. So it would have been
Mm.
handy before. But see, that's the beauty of it. We got this amazing house built and we found a way to communicate.
Yeah. Yeah.
They'd
I
be
think
speaking Singular, and I'm like, yeah, oh, yes, and not knowing what on earth they're doing. I just have to look at what they're doing.
so. You don't speak any Sinhala, Nyoli.
I'm very bad. I can understand a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
I understand Singular, but because the words are around the wrong way, subject, object, verb, everything's around the wrong way.
Yeah, I
By the
think we
time I
don't
start,
care.
yeah, by the time I start speaking it, it's finished. It's over and done with. So instead of saying I love you, they say I you love. So I'm having to put all these words in a different order It's like, oh God. And I went to classes. I
Mm-hmm.
frustrated the teacher terribly because I was the worst student. Being an English teacher, I was so headstrong on this is how it's done. I couldn't flip it the other way, I guess.
Yeah, the best advice is don't follow the order. Just put it somewhere
Yeah.
and
And it'll work.
yes. Okay. What about the food? Do you like the food? I mean, our authentic food, not the ones you get in
Yes.
Mirissa cafes, you know.
Yes. So the authentic rice and curry is
Mm.
unbelievable. The best I have had in the country is in Jaffna. It
Oh.
blew my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Jaffna food. What is that? I don't know if it's a mix of Sri Lankan and Indian influences, but it was off the charts. And every region's rice and curry is completely different.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
down south, I find it's a bit blander
Mm-hmm.
than other areas. So, but when you get good rice and curry, you're getting really good rice and curry. The
Yeah.
flavors are just incredible.
Okay. And do you like
So
spicy food?
spice, oh
Hot?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Then you then you
I
will be
don't have a problem.
comfortable. What about the transport facilities?
Oh, well, you can go anywhere on a bus. Like there's a bus every 10 minutes, right? Or sooner.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bus going somewhere at any given
Yes.
time. Then you've got the highway buses that connects Colombo down south, connects down south to the airport. Now they're building a
Yeah.
new one that's going to go through the middle of the island and to the eastern side. So, and the AC buses are fast, they're regular, they're cheap, so cheap. Or the local bus, that's always fun. So you've got the
Mm.
disco bus with the flashing lights and the loud music. That's yeah. So
Do you
now
like
you've got
that, or
that. You've
you
got
think it's a nuisance? The disco buses.
depends if you're traveling in the middle of the night, it's not so fun. But it's an experience, right? And they drive at breakneck speed. They drive a million miles an hour, and you've got your lights and your
Yes.
disco balls and everything. It's like wow, I'm in Sri Lanka. But then you got your tuk-tuks there everywhere.
Yeah.
We've got Pick Me and Uber now, but not in all areas. That's still a
Mm-hmm.
work in progress.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got your hire cars. Like this, you can go anywhere. And
Yeah.
scooters. So a lot of people are hiring their own tuk-tuks and their own scooters now.
Yeah. What
There's a
about you? Have
lot
you
of
ever
that.
tried a tuk-tuk? Riding
No,
one?
I haven't tried driving one. No, I had a scooter and I'd only drive around my little area and I kept running into everybody's gate and their wall. And I thought, oh, I better not go out on the busy road. I'll just go down the street and back.
Mm.
So that was
Take
the
the
end of that.
bus. Okay. That's fine.
Because in Sri Lanka, you can drive anywhere on the road. As long as you're on the road, doesn't matter
Yes.
where, you can drive anywhere on it. So coming from a country where you strictly got to stick to your lane, it's like, nah, safer
Yeah.
I'd be a passenger.
What about the visa procedures and the bureaucracy? I'm sure you had to apply,
Okay.
renew, even for the
Yeah.
guest house.
Yeah. So I used to always use a visa agent because I was busy down
Mm.
south and it is a bit of a journey into Colombo and then sitting around waiting for hours. So I used an agent, but that process is now stopped. And so I'm a resident and
Mm-hmm.
I hope to stay that way. My visa's due next month, so I'll pop into immigration. Hopefully it won't be as difficult for me because they have new rules. We don't know what those are, but I
Yeah.
have a company.
Mm-hmm.
I've been here a long time, invested a lot of money, done volunteer work, so hopefully I won't have any issues. I've never done anything illegally. So he's hoping everything will be fine.
You first came to Sri Lanka, Naoli. What kind of cultural shocks did you experience?
Ah, okay. So body space.
Mm.
Usually we leave a space around our person and people don't
Yes.
usually enter that space. But
Mm-hmm.
in Sri Lanka, it's very common for people to
Yeah.
stand incredibly close to you,
Very close
like
to you.
on a train or on a
Yes.
bus, getting on one of those crowded trains and you've got people all over you, 4 or 5 people to a seat that probably only fits about two. That took a bit of getting used to,
Mm-hmm.
that sort of thing. Um, I think it was, and at that time, women had only just been allowed to go into a wine store and purchase
No,
an
it
alcoholic
was
drink.
allowed even before, but culturally they don't want to go. No one is stopping
Yes,
you,
and
but
because I asked where I was,
seen as a bad thing.
yes, okay, because I was asking, and they're, no, 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 women can go in there, no, no, and I'm like, are you sure? Like, so, and I was under the belief it had just happened, but yes, and I think where I was staying in Colombo might have been a bit of a novelty, me going into the wine store, but no, and look, because I traveled so much, I'm used to experiencing different things. I guess if you haven't traveled extensively and lived in other countries, then it will be a shock,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that we do have issues here with garbage, but so does
yes.
any other third world country and an island, even in the middle of London, they have problems with their garbage.
Now, yes.
So it's not as prevalent as what it was. The very
Okay.
first time I noticed a lot that the rivers were very, very dirty. There was a lot of garbage. Now there's things in place, and there's things in the river that catch the garbage and then they take it away. It's so much cleaner than what it was, like
Mm,
really.
mm.
And it's a big issue, and they're recycling. They're recycling now, so the garbage man won't take your garbage until one day's plastic day, another day's rice and curry
Oh,
day.
nice.
So we're getting there.
Yeah,
Slowly,
yeah.
slowly.
There is some progress.
Yeah, definitely. I've seen it.
What do you think is a pro of living in Sri Lanka? Pros and cons, let's say.
Yeah. Okay. So the weather is a massive pro, especially if you come from Europe, where you get
Mm-hmm.
bitterly cold winters. Like pretty much
Yeah.
consistent here. It's either
Mm.
hot or hotter. We don't have
Yes.
anything.
With
There's no need
humidity.
for a jacket in in the middle of the country. You go to Ella and Euralia. Yeah, you'll need some days you need a jacket.
Yes.
But then if you're from the UK and you go to Ella, you think, oh, the weather's great.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm so acclimatized, I'm like, oh, it's freezing here, but it's not really. So you've got the amazing weather. You've got the price of living. So you want to rent it or buy, it's very cheap.
Mm.
Okay, now it's difficult to buy as a foreigner. You need to have a company, and it needs to be set up properly. You need to have, at the moment, it's 40%, the company would be 40% foreign owned and 60% Sri Lankan owned company. It used to be, uh, the gap was a bit wider, but not now.
Mm-hmm.
And, you have to make sure that you have a company with the right person,
Yeah,
because they
that's
own
true.
60% of it, which means if you go ahead and spend all your money on a property and you have a falling out, so you have to be very careful with that. But the cost of living is ridiculous. It has risen in the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Let's say I'd go down to have a beer at the beach. It was 300 rupees. Now it's 900 to 1,000.
900. Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
it's
And,
happening everywhere, I think.
yeah,
The
yeah. So the
living
cost of living,
expenses are
I
high.
don't notice it, but for a
Mm.
Sri Lankan family, yes, rice has gone up, everything's gone up. So for them,
Yeah.
it's been tough.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
for, but fortunately for me or any expat, it's still extremely cheap.
Mm. It's affordable.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it is. And now we're getting medical. Now we're
Mm.
getting really good medical.
And what are the cons of
Okay,
living
so
in Sri Lanka?
well, probably my biggest one would be the constant haggling. When you live in a different country and you want to go from A to B, it's going to cost you that amount, and that's what it is. And you
Yeah.
go to a shop and you like those pair of shoes, that's how much they cost, and that's what you pay. But
Mm-hmm.
here, it's a different story. So especially
Bargain.
for foreigners, oh
Yes.
yeah, a tuk-tuk is going to generally cost X amount to go over there, but you'll get a tuk-tuk driver and he wants to charge you 3 or 400% more than what it's worth. And so you got to haggle with him. And then you want that pair of shoes. I just want them. But no, we have to haggle over it. I just want to buy them. And that's
Mm.
just, it wears you down sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm taking a lot of foreigners coming here would think it's fun and exciting and it's all new. But when you live it, it's like, oh, just let me buy them. But that would probably that would be it for me. That would
Mm.
be it. I just want to
Yeah.
go somewhere and do something, and it's simple and easy. But
Yeah.
no, that's part of living here. So you just live with it.
Yeah, no, no, there should be a fixed price for everything. I think we need to reach that point someday for tourists, locals, everybody, you know.
Well, I yes, because that you do get everyone's on social media these days, and you don't want negativity out there. You don't want people saying bad things, or this person charged me too much for that, or whatever. So it would be good. That's why businesses like Pick Me, the local,
Yeah,
Uber,
yeah,
are fantastic. They're
yeah,
brilliant. You can get in one. They're safe. If you leave something behind in a Pick Me car or a tuk-tuk, you can get it back because
yeah,
there's a record of who you went with.
yes.
And
But then there is a
everything.
problem of using pick me in some areas of Sri Lanka, which needs to be
Oh
fixed
yes.
too. Yeah.
Oh yes. They're very they don't the people don't want to see that progress. They feel they're losing out on money, but the reality is they'd be busier than ever.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
they're sitting in the tuk-tuk park waiting for someone to walk past,
Yeah.
where someone could go on an app and say, I want to go 4 hours away, or I want to go on a whole day trip. They're missing
Yes.
out on that person,
Yes.
but they
Yes.
don't
They just
they
need to
don't
get
see
on the
that.
app. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm trying to educate my group of tuk-tuk friends, but it's a progress,
Yes.
work in progress.
And do you feel safe in Sri Lanka? For all these years, have you
Oh
come across
yes.
any incidents that you felt like it's unsafe for
Look,
you?
I tell you what, I lived in Hollywood in California, and I felt more unsafe there than I
Oh.
do here.
Mm.
There's some strange characters in that town. And here I felt I'd finish school at 9 p.m. in Colombo, then I'd have to get a tuk-tuk back to my house. And sometimes I'd have to walk up the street to get something for dinner. And it was a bit scary. And I didn't
Mm-hmm.
know if people were following me. I was the only foreigner around. In an area where I lived, there was none. And so I thought of people following me home. I was aware um, that I was different, but I didn't have any incidences. I
Okay.
had, many truck drivers wanting to marry me, and come and live in Australia with me and fall in love with me on a 10-minute journey, as they do. apart from apart from that, no, it's been great.
Okay. Wow.
Oh, it's just what they
And
do. I think it's
yes,
funny.
everybody wants to go out with a Suddhi, they say, the white woman.
Oh yes, and I see. And my friends will post something on like Facebook about wanting something or getting a recommendation, and they might start off with, "I'm not looking for a husband or a boyfriend. I just want to look for blah." Because you'll get 20 DMs.
Yes, better to clarify. And she will be
Oh,
left
but see,
with
that's
very
how
few
friendly
comments
everyone is.
then. So,
Yeah. Oh,
no,
it's
yeah,
funny.
this needs to change too. Not everybody's looking for husband or wife. Yes. So, Naoli, are you still mistaken as a tourist when you're around Mirissa? Maybe probably in the
Oh,
town.
Marissa, no.
Yeah, Mirissa, no. Now
No, most
everybody
people,
knows.
Marissa, Welligummer, yeah, pretty much. And like during all of the tragic times, there was just me pretty much.
Hmm.
Um, it was a, it was very bizarre during COVID. Like everybody knew who I was, but there was a few shops would open sometimes,
Hmm.
and I needed something, an office supplies. And when the man saw I was coming into his shop, he raced over and shut the door and wouldn't let me in and was
Hmm.
screaming COVID at me. I'm like, I haven't left. There's no COVID here. There's no COVID in the country. I really
Yeah.
need to buy these things. And the buses, some of the buses wouldn't let me on.
Mm.
The tuk-tuks wouldn't let me in the tuk-tuk because,
Wow.
maybe they were just uneducated. I don't think they were being racist. I think they just thought every foreigner had COVID.
Yeah.
And that included me, even though I hadn't gone anywhere. So it was a bizarre experience.
Yeah. Maybe they couldn't recognize you. I mean, yeah, people can be. No, but do they try to sell you things when you are out of Mirissa, that area you're
On
familiar with?
well, if they do, I can put a stop to it. I know some Sinhala.
Oh,
And
okay.
then they get excited. Oh, she knows Sinhala. Oh, amazing. And then they want to be your best friend and they start speaking fluent Sinhala. Like, I don't know what you're saying. I only know those 3 words.
What do
But
you
they
say?
get
I live
excited. If
here.
you can speak Sinhala, yeah.
Yeah.
Mama Inua Mirissa. And then they'll ask how long, and then I'll count on my fingers how paha, 60, whatever I want to say, and they struggle. But it's I love learning the new language. It's great.
So if you had to do the move all over again, Naoli, what would you do differently?
Okay, and I say this to a lot of foreigners. They come to the country and they see its beauty. Wow, the jungles, wow, the beaches, wow, the people, right? And then, the truck driver, the waiter, whoever they talk to, oh, my friend has a business, or my friend has a house. You can turn it into a villa. You can turn it into this. This happens down south like every day, and people are trying to, yes, oh yeah, this is my cousin. They are good people. You don't need a lease, or no, use their lawyer and blah blah blah, which happened to me. And you can easily lose all of your money in a heartbeat. And I see foreigners come here and get excited and listen to all the magic of what life could be like, and
Yes.
not doing it properly. Go and find your own lawyer. Never use your landlord's
There.
lawyer, ever. Find your own lawyer. Try and go on Facebook with other expats and, find out, get recommendations. Don't give anyone any money.
Yeah.
People ask ridiculous amounts of key money. You give me, 10 million and I'll hold it for you while you get everything done. No, don't do that.
Yeah.
I've seen many people come and go from this town over the years, and it's sad. So, but that will happen probably in many other countries as well. So as long as you're smart and you're safe,
Yeah.
then it can be done, and you'll have a great life.
Yeah. Don't trust anybody just like that. Make everything legal, document everything.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Make sure you've got the right visa. So important.
Also,
My
that,
goodness.
yes. Okay. And what would you recommend?
And he will tell immigration, and that's it.
Yes. Okay. Would you recommend foreigners to come and settle down in Sri Lanka?
Yeah. Look, you look at other countries like, especially Thailand, the amount of expats that have amazing lives in Thailand.
Yes.
Chiang Mai alone has 30,000. Just in little old Chiang Mai. Some countries have also pension. I don't know what you call it. So allowances. So yeah. So like if you're a New Zealander, you'll still get the pension every fortnight from New Zealand, even though you're living in Thailand. We don't have that, as far as I know, in Sri Lanka. But it's all good for the country. People, if they live here, they're spending their money here. It's helping the country. We're building nice buildings. We're opening nice cafes. We're attracting more people, and the money's hopefully flowing through the village.
Yes.
So yeah, it's a great place to live, and it's affordable, and you'll never be able to probably live in a beachfront house in your country, or sure as hell won't be Australia. That'll cost me 30 million, Aussie dollars. But here, it can be done. I can start a business. It can be done. It's not going to cost me an absolute fortune, and there's not, mounds of red tape and massive insurances and all the other stuff you have to go through these days. You can have a good life. There's some really good international schools here. If your children are young, you pick an area with a great school. Sri Lankans on a whole are intelligent people, and I think the only reason some of them leave the country is because they've gone as far as they can in their profession. They can't go any further. So they have to go to another country. Say if they want to be I don't know, something in the law or something in IT. We have a Sri Lankan working in our company in Australia, and he had to leave to progress further in his career because he'd reached the top. So,
Okay.
and that's a shame because Sri Lanka loses a lot of good talent.
Yes, there's a brain drain.
Yeah. So
True.
it'd be nice to see, and it will happen eventually, but it'd be nice to see those people stay here. And be able to progress and do something with that knowledge. But I think they're intelligent people as a whole, and very, very inventive. Like if something breaks, you don't go like in Australia, it breaks, you go somewhere and just buy another one. Oh no, they'll sit there and they'll fix it, and they'll pick a stick off the tree and something else over there and blah blah blah. Next thing you know, it works, and it works better than it did before.
Out work, experience, learn something, and come back and contribute to your country, I guess.
Yes. Yes, look, definitely. I helped a young girl go to university in Australia for nursing. I helped her with all the paperwork, and she's planning on getting all her skills and coming back and helping at a hospital here.
Yes.
That's the only way you're going to, educate the other nurses.
Yes. Yes.
The equipment they use in Australia, they don't have here.
Yeah, but at least the procedures, techniques, yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And then come back and teach people.
Yes, true. And also expats investing or opening businesses and living there like you. I can imagine how many local families you're helping, It's really wonderful. Yeah.
Yes. Yep. So with my first hostel, I tried to spread the income around all the immediate village. So found out who had scooters to rent, who had tuk-tuks they wanted to rent. Did the ummers want to make rice and curry and sell that to the guests, because I didn't have a restaurant at that time. Did they have a fishing boat? Would they like to make some money and take my guests fishing? I tried to include them in my business.
That's lovely.
And it's the right thing to do. I mean, we're invaded. They've been living this way for hundreds of years, and then all of a sudden we just pop up.
Yes.
So it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, true. Okay, Naoli, before we wrap it up, do you see any business opportunities that you see, but the Sri Lankans don't? What would you advise them?
Oh my goodness, I see opportunity everywhere.
Everywhere, right?
Yes, and you're right. If they haven't gone overseas or they haven't seen it on the TV, like then you don't know what you don't know, right? And that's just it. So I'm on the most beautiful flat waterway you can imagine, and it should be full of water sports. There should be stand-up paddleboarding and kayaking. There should be jet skis. There should be windsurfing. There should be all of these things.
Yes.
Somebody has just gone and got a speedboat. One or two people have got a speedboat from somewhere. So that's a new thing. But apart from that, where's all the water sports? People would love to do that.
Yes.
I've got snorkeling. Where are the people snorkeling? They're not here.
Yeah. And also
so I see opportunity everywhere. I see opportunity for water taxi.
Yes. And daycares.
Water taxis. People love it.
Tourists would love to
there is no daycare.
Get a break from their kids.
You're correct. You're correct. You go onto the main beach and there's little toddlers running around everywhere, and the mums are busy. The dads are fine, but the mums are busy running around everywhere, and they would like a break. I do know of one or two people only privately that will look after the kids, but most people don't know. And mum and dad want to go out to dinner. They want to enjoy listening to the live music and having a great time and actually sitting still for 5 minutes. So, so that is also an opportunity. I'm looking at a wedding venue. There isn't one here either.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
I just see opportunity everywhere.
Yes, you just have to start somewhere small and then market it, maybe. I did a podcast before this with an American expat, and he gave the best advice. You start small. Then eventually, when you feel like you're growing, grow bigger. I think that's the best thing to do, not just invest everything you have.
No, step by step.
Step by step.
Step,
Yes.
especially in a foreign country, because
Yes.
you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know,
Yes.
because when political changes, that changes a lot around Sri Lanka.
Yes.
Other countries maybe not so much. So yes, always step by step is the wise way to go.
Yes. Hopefully the new political change will be good for us. Let's hope. Let's pray.
So
And
far, so far,
yeah, seems like something is changing. Let's hope.
I see it. Well, the people are generally happier.
Mm-hmm.
Before
Yeah.
there was a lot of grumbling. There was living here was tough. It
Yes.
really was. And it's really changed. So, like, I think last week we had a power outage for hours, but that was because a monkey in the
Yes.
middle of the country did something at the power station, then the country had no power. I've only experienced, upgrading the power cables, electricity out. But apart from that, since the new government come in, we've pretty much had zero interruptions. And, we have pretty much have water all the time.
Mm.
So I've seen some big living changes.
Yeah, yeah.
And here
The
comes the
vibe
bread
is
man.
very positive. It feels like everybody
Yes,
is feeling positive. Yeah, that's a good thing. Okay, thank you, Naoli, for
yes.
participating in this podcast. Really, you've been through all this in Sri Lanka. We personally, we were out, but you were there, so I can see the love for the country, or maybe you were stuck, or both. Thank you very
No,
much for
no.
your
When
time.
I leave, I travel a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, thank you. But I do travel a lot, and when I come only for work, just for a week or two, and when I come back, I'm relieved.
You're home.
All my stress is gone. I'm
Yes,
home. But I don't
yes.
know. It's not stressful living here.
Yeah, yeah. There is something I don't know. I really cannot figure out. But even for us, we go everywhere we work. But I mean, it's not like a stressed life even. But when we touch down Sri Lanka, there is that aura is very peaceful.
Yes,
It's very nice.
it is.
Yeah,
Even though there
I
could
love
be
it.
mayhem outside with the taxis and everyone trying to go,
Come, come, come.
it still has it. Yeah,
True.
there's something about it, right?
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Thanks again, and
Thank you.
have a lovely day, Naoli. Thank you so much. Bye.
Okay, stay in touch.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
And all the best with your projects. I'm sorry. All the best, very best with your projects.
Thank you. Thank you.